Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission for Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. I'd like to open the meeting at 7:30. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Carpenter?
Here.
Ms. Collins? Mr. Hara? Mr. Kucera?
Here.
Ms. Lalonde?
Here.
Mr. Nushai?
Here.
Ms. Redmond?
Here.
Mr. Solomon?
Here.
And Mr. Tinlin.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is approval of tonight's agenda. Does anyone have anything that they want to change on tonight's agenda? Any things they want to add to? Seeing none, I will approve it as it stands. And we'll move on to number 5, which is approval of the regular meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2025. That's our last meeting.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 23rd, 2025.
Support.
Motion supported. Everybody happy with it? No changes, no additions? May I have roll call on that, please?
Mr. Kucera?
Yes.
Ms. Lalonde?
Yes.
Mr. Nushai?
Yes.
Ms. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Solomon?
Yes.
Mr. Tinlin?
Yes.
And Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is public discussion. If there's anyone here from the public wishing to opine on any matter that they're dealing with, we can give you a couple minutes to the microphone if you want to complain, change things, no takers. Okay, then I will then close public discussion. And agenda item number 7 is public hearing. Consideration of an application for 340 North Main Street to be rezoned to core residential from office service and single-family residential. And Mr. Tangieri, I think, will walk us through this.
Yes, so this is the second time we've looked at this. It was sent to council after a tie vote, and council sent it back to Planning Commission for reconsideration. So this is 340 North Main Street, which is the church more or less across the street. It's across the street and down a little bit. And it is kind of a strange lot in that it's long and deep and goes, but also narrow, and goes between a bunch of street-facing homes that front on Fisher Court and Lincoln Avenue. As noted, it's currently got a mixed designation of O1 office and R2 single family, and they are requesting to rezone it to CR core residential, which is its designation on the future land use map. So it's about 1.5 acres. The office zoning is along the Main Street portion, and the back portion, which is most of the lot, is zoned R2. There are actually 2 parcels here. There's a very small one that's kind of carved out of the larger one up along Main Street, but we're talking about both of them as a single site here. They're under common ownership at present. Surrounding zoning, there is O1 office service to the north at the corner of Fisher Court and Main. There's CMD, Central Mixed Use, at the corner of Lincoln and Main. And then everything else is R2, single family. And then across Main Street is CMD. So the post office and biscuits and gravy are over there. We included the master plan description of the CR district. There's also a chart that shows how the dimensional requirements differ from the O1 and R2 districts to the CR district, and we can discuss that as much as you want. We also have our items to consider for zoning map amendment. So this is all mostly the same as the last time we looked at this. They did update their application to note that they plan on complying with the CR district standards. Last time they had a couple of numbers in there that were not going to be in compliance with it, and they acknowledged that at this point, and they've taken that out of their application and submitted a revised application. So the questions that we ask are, is the proposed zoning consistent with the master plan? In this case, we do find that it is, because it's the core residential district is analogous to the core residential future land use category. What other impact would the requested zoning have on public services, utilities, and natural features? We find that if you had any kind of increase in traffic, it would be pretty modest at most. The office designation at the front of the site at present, if it were to be occupied by, say, a medical office or something, you could have a fair amount of traffic in there, in and out of there, that you're not going to get with residential development. And the way that it's spread out is different too. Has the applicant provided evidence that the property cannot be developed or used as zoned? And we have noted that, no, we haven't seen that. The split zoning designation does make a cohesive development of the property challenging. There's not room to run a public street serving single-family homes into the property either. Is the proposed zoning district and potential land uses compatible with surrounding uses? So the proposed zoning district is consistent with the master plan. It's designed to function as a low-intensity district for the edges of downtown. Will the proposed zoning place a burden on nearby thoroughfares? If so, would this burden compare? How would this burden compare with the existing zoning district? And again, we think we're looking at a very modest increase over what could potentially be built now. Is there other land currently available for this use? Very little land available for housing due to the fact that it's mostly built out. Will development of the site under proposed zoning be able to meet zoning district requirements? You can accomplish development in compliance with CR standards. The updated application doesn't specify any plans for the property. Is rezoning the best way to address the request, or could the existing zoning district be amended to add the proposed use as a permitted or special land use? Existing districts are office and single family. Attached residential, which does still seem to be what they're thinking about, isn't contemplated by the master plan or the zoning ordinance in either of those districts. Has there been a change in circumstances and conditions since adoption of the master plan that would support the proposed change? The master plan, of course, as we know, was just adopted. Church's closure is really the primary change in circumstance in the area in that time frame. And finally, would granting the request result in the creation of an unplanned spot zone? There's a little definition of what that is here. And the sub-questions there are, is the rezoning consistent with the master plan for the area? We find that it is. If the proposed zoning district, a logical extension of an existing zoning district in the area, and it's not a direct extension of a CR district. Would approving the request grant a special benefit to a property owner or developer? Really, they're looking to permit the use of the full property for residential construction with attached units. We've included at the end of the letter all the uses that are permitted in O1 and R2, as well as the CR district. So you can just see kind of what the difference between those districts is in terms of what you can actually do there in any building that you might construct. Any questions for me? I know the applicant is here, so that you can also speak to them.
Joe, can you go through the spot zoning? Because I am confused about how the spot zoning wouldn't be something of concern here, since the core residential is all located and its primary use is defined as surrounding the city center.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really that first sub-question that kind of takes spot zoning off the table because it is consistent with how the master plan designated the area. It is mostly around the edges of downtown. This lot is partially around the edge of downtown. It borders CMD to the south along Main Street. And yeah, it was designated that by core residential in the master plan. So it's not in conflict with the master plan. And while it's not directly adjacent to other CR properties, that planning, that consistency with our planning means that it's not a spot zoning.
And it doesn't matter that the intent of core residential is to preserve single-family character, and its intention is to be downtown.
I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but in this case, there is no single family on the lot to preserve. And also, the attached units are a permitted use in the core residential district.
Were there things that, I know that we had a meeting after, in that they were able to gather feedback. I don't know what's changed between the last time they were here and this time. Is there anything that I'm missing has changed?
They updated the application after being sent back to you from planning, and that's essentially it. I don't know what conversations they've had or what the result of those conversations was.
Okay. And I still have the outstanding concerns of the RM1 and RM2 zoning that's attached to our core residential. And their use standards, their setback, their lot coverage. It says, in RM1, it allows for 3 stories. 30 feet, 3 stories.
The CR district doesn't allow for 3 stories, though.
But it attaches to the.
No,
so
there's
that
a
supersedes
standard.
RM
There's a standard for the CR district, which is 2 stories. That's what applies
So only
here.
where standards aren't delineated in CR would we apply the RM2?
It's really mostly for density for the RM2 RM1 that you'd look at the RM1 district. The dimensional standards of the CR district are what's going to apply here.
The dimensional standards will, okay. And what prevents an RM2 from going there?
It's not zoned RM2.
Well, but a CR does go right to RM1 and RM2.
Yeah, I don't know how you would build an RM2 development on this property, but the way the ordinance has been interpreted in the past and the way we're interpreting it now is that RM1 would be the density that you would peg to this property. And we have talked about making that explicit. I do have some draft language for that, which we'll be talking about at the next meeting. But yeah,
Well, it makes me uncomfortable, obviously, to go ahead and change it without the language that's, I've been asking for that language to be implemented already. So me personally, it makes me uncomfortable. RM2, they've got a higher density of 5, they divide by 500 versus 1,000 for the density. The RM1, I believe you've got plenty of space there to do an RM2. I don't know what stops that from happening. In terms of density, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same height as, the senior high-rise, but we've seen density used in RM2 for other projects.
no, we haven't. We have one RM2 density project in the entire city, and it's the tower.
The PUD was a mix of an RM2
No, it was RM1 density.
okay.
Yes, it was.
I don't recall that, but okay.
It was actually a couple of rooms below RM1 density.
I'm not talking about their PUD. I'm talking about a separate PUD.
I'm talking about 150 North
Oh,
Main.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So those were my questions.
Any further questions for Joe? Anyone have any questions for the applicant? Perhaps? Good evening.
Excuse me, good evening. Andy Millia. I'm a development consultant here on behalf of Trowbridge, Mr. Randazzo's company. Mr. Randazzo is also here tonight. I want to just take a few minutes to clarify a couple issues that were raised at the last meeting, if I may. And I notice you have a new planning commission member as well, and I welcome her. We see at the last commission meeting in August, there seemed to be a discussion about some site planning issues, and they were kind of conflated and commingled with the rezoning process. But the development process in this community is a two-step process. One is a rezoning, and one is a site plan approval process. We're here tonight simply for a rezoning. Any issues that are being raised tonight that were raised last time, such as site planning issues, which are density and height and setbacks, those are not decided tonight. Those all get decided at the next meeting if this is properly rezoned. So we want to make that, very clear that if this were to be rezoned, it would be rezoned to a very strict ordinance, and then any site plan approval would have to follow that ordinance. So in essence, you get another bite at the apple to make sure that it's done properly. But there seemed to be a lot of confusion. One of the important things that I want to emphasize and stress is that this property specifically and your entire community went through a very stringent master plan approval process, and this property was already designated and master planned for future land use for this core residential. So in essence, you somewhat decided the fate of this property when you set in motion that master plan. And the master plan was done very well. It was done with professionals. It was done with a lot of thought. It's done in a community that's starting to change. It's a very well-established development community. And their master plan was very thoughtful. It takes parcels such as this that have obsolete uses and puts a use on them that is apt to be feasible. So you did the right thing when you in essence, proposed that, adopted the master plan and adopted a new ordinance. So we're here tonight simply to ask and request that you approve the rezoning consistent with what you've already approved in the master plan. And I think that's an important point. Your consultant's report of October 8th, Giffords-Webster properly identified that this is consistent with the master plan. And the reason a master plan is important is it puts out to the community, especially to the development and investment community, what this community is looking for in terms of development. And when you publish a master plan, you communicate to the world that you're seeking developments that are consistent with a master plan. So that's very important. Developers invest, in this case, already tens of thousands of dollars in just putting forth a proposed rezoning that's consistent. I think it's very important to understand that. We're not here for site plan approval. We can have those debates. Ms. Redmond raised some very good issues that, that will be dealt with at the site plan approval process. So we're just looking for something that's been, already changed and consistent with the master plan, and that we would meet that. Available to answer any questions that you
I
may
agree
have.
with you. This is not a site plan. It wasn't last time you
Correct.
guys were here. It's strictly rezoning. But I think part of the problem we had 3 no votes. Yeah, three, 4, and 3 against. No,
There's four yes votes and 3 no votes.
and 3 no votes. And I think part of the confusion was that they were looking at it as a site plan.
Correct.
And you shouldn't be looking at it that way. I think what we're looking at now is by changing the zone to core residential from office and single family, we want to make sure that we're not losing any ground here.
Correct.
I don't want to, change the zone all of a sudden you're putting up a 15-story building or a 20-story.
Correct. It has to meet the ordinance
Right.
of what is being rezoned to, and that's a very important distinction.
Right, so you will live within the restrictions once it's rezoned.
Correct.
You have no option then. So.
Right, it's by right. At that point, it would be a by right.
Well,
So,
not really.
yeah.
You have to meet the ordinances. This is more of a by right request because you've already.
It's not a by right.
No,
The master
no,
plan is not a by
no,
right.
I understand. That's, I was talking, that this is more similar to a by right request because we are rezoning to something that has already been designated in the master plan. We're not trying to rezone something that has a different master plan. That's a very important distinction. Normally, when we're in a meeting, this room would be filled with people opposing it. The lack of people here, I think, supports what you've already decided, is that the best use of this property is the core zoning. And that's all we're asking for.
Sir, the master plan is put out as an idea, we've also put certain road diets in a master plan. That doesn't mean we're implementing them. That means we're studying them. And that is part of the problem. So it's not a commitment. We didn't change the zoning. That's what you're asking us to do. So by no means does the master plan dedicate that for you to just by right have a CR designation there. And the problem is if we don't have a ordinance in place, because we didn't take the time after designating it on our master plan to ensure that the ordinance meets the ideas and the thoughts that we talked about during that master plan discussion, then there's an issue with the rezoning of it. So the master plan does not give you a by right.
I'm not
And
saying it gives us a by right.
But you're lecturing the planning commission on how the master plan works and like what we should do, because this is what we committed to with the master plan, and I don't think that's very fair.
Further questions?
We had, who else had the no on the original one? I know Nate had the no on the last one. Who else was it?
Nate,
Any other concerns or comments?
I'm not. I took a deeper dive into this, and I'm okay.
Okay.
and Aaron, you were the no votes, right?
Yeah, I think I've talked enough.
No comments on there, we're all good.
I mean, unless, Ms. Redmond, you want to kind of further discuss your concerns, because I do understand, obviously, we don't want to have anything above 2 stories. There's requirements for the CR district that I'm comfortable meet the needs of this area and the concerns that were brought up before, because I think there was originally some language in the application around a 3-story that made people uncomfortable. They obviously have retracted that. It's not allowed in this district. So I'm comfortable based on what I know the zoning allows for in CR, unless you have something you want to go a little bit deeper. I know you mentioned density. If you want to expand for me personally, if I'm missing something, I just want to.
Well, just for me, there's not explicit language, and it has nothing to do with these guys, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we don't know enough either, I don't think. So let's be clear on that. I do take insult to that, but I do think that since we don't have specific language that draws the single family, the townhome idea that we talked about at our meeting when we decided to zone this as that, there's not specific language that draws that. I just don't, there could be apartments there, and it's not the idea that we were discussing.
I'm just going to correct it, the apartment idea, because as we've discussed, attached housing has a definition in our ordinance, and it's different from multifamily. And attached housing is specified to be things like townhomes and row houses. You cannot build an apartment building in
But the
here
density and everything
CR.
is linked to RM1, RM2,
It doesn't matter what the
Joe.
density is, you still can't build an apartment building. It has to be row houses or
Okay,
townhomes.
the feel is the same, Joe. When people go out their back door, like, the feel is the same. You
I
haven't
mean,
convinced
you're
me otherwise.
welcome to that opinion, but it's not an apartment building. I just
I mean, what's the
want to be
difference?
precise
One's
about
owned
this.
and one's not, right? Like, what other distinctions do you define?
You can have an apartment building where every unit is individually owned. You can
Right.
have townhomes that are all rented.
That's my
You can have
point.
individual, single-family detached homes that are rentals. I don't know what ownership has to do with it.
Well, so what is your distinction between the row?
A row
attached
house
home?
or a townhome is a unit that's placed next to another unit with a common wall between them.
Mm-hmm.
And apartments are generally, you have units that are stacked on top of each other and next to each other, and there's a common entrance to all of those units, whereas townhomes and row houses will have a single
Entry.
entrance for each unit.
Okay.
That's the distinction.
I'm talking the density-wise difference, Joe.
But I'm not disputing that the density is what it is. It's just that the building type and the use is different as defined in the ordinance. And I want to be precise about these things so people know what we're talking about.
Okay.
It's not apartments.
I didn't accuse it of apartments. I'm saying that the density is the same in that. And we link to the RM1, RM2 density. And if you guys don't like the process that we're talking about those things right now, it's because we didn't get the opportunity to do it before the request was in front of us.
And we respect that.
Yeah.
However, we're just trying to be compliant with the master plan zoning that we have. We have plenty of opportunity to discuss that. We've been through, this will be our 4th project here. We think we've done a beautiful job. We're not here for that. We have people in the community that are neighbors. If you're willing, if you want to hear them, they're very happy with what we've done. We don't want controversy. We just want to build a nice project. We love what we're doing here. We love the city. People want to live here. People living in our projects move here. We have evidence of that. I respect if you want nothing done. That's your choice.
I didn't say that.
No, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I
Yeah.
really don't. However, we build quality product. We want to continue to do so. And we just want to comply with what we think is a good thing. We need our downtown to thrive. We need people in order to do that. They need to spend money locally. This is not a site that you can put residential houses. I think what you're doing, and I respect what you've done, in that you've master planned this in this new district. I think it's a good thing. We happen to build a higher quality product. We're not here for that. We just want to be compliant with the master plan zoning that you all have voted on. I'm not saying you've comprehensively, maybe for some or all, not decided it, but we just want to be compliant with what you have. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
So I'm comfortable with the permitted uses in the CR district, and I'm comfortable with the height requirement and the 2-story limit. There were a couple people that attended either this meeting or the city council meeting that lived in the area that had some concerns. I saw that you had maybe given them a card. Is there anything you can address that?
Well, we can address that. We'll live within your ordinance.
Yeah.
We're not asking for anything more or anything less. We do meet with all of our neighbors. As I said, there's a couple folks here who are, if you want to hear them, the building process sometimes is not fun, although we make it nice for everybody. And we make them happy. They're our friends. And we intend to continue to do that. We'd love for you to have us here if you want it. If you don't, we'll go somewhere else, that's all. But we want to do a good job for you. That's all we want to do.
Chair, I have a question. Does the max lot, I mean, this is obviously a large project, something's been going on for a very long time. I have limited knowledge of it, and I'm doing my best to absorb everything. Along with what Joshua had said was, the height, the setback, all of it is in line with what they would have been dealing with an 01 scenario in the front. I mean, you're not, the people aren't being exposed to anything more aggressive in terms of height or anything else than they would have had it been zoned office. Does the 40% max lot coverage contain the amount of actual development so you don't have overpopulation? Because it feels like the concern is you're shoving too many people in a certain space, and is it going to affect the people around there? Is it going to affect the feeling of what we anticipated for that usage? Does that 40% max lot coverage address that concern, this density concern?
I can
In
help
any
you
way.
with that, Ms. Lalonde. We're gonna approach that in the site plan. We're just here for the master plan zoning.
No, I get that, I get that.
And
But
the
if you're
an-
just
the-
trying to calm concerns about even moving forward to changing
Yeah.
the
We're
zoning.
gonna comply with your ordinances, what they are. I don't even know what they are, but we are not gonna change it. We have no intent on doing that. Whatever you have, we're gonna live by it. And I would just tell you that we've done a good job so far, and we're gonna continue to do so. And that's it. We just wanna live with what you have. No more, no less. That's it.
And I think to answer that question in the R2, it's 35%. You're talking about 5% difference between a CR and a R2.
Okay.
So it's not a massive amount, 5%.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
This agenda item is called out as a public hearing, so I guess at this point I should open up for a public hearing. Is there anyone from public here wishing to opine on this matter?
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Pastor Mikhail. I'm the pastor of the Middle Eastern Bible Fellowship next door to the building. And I can give credit to Tony because I've been there. I mean, it's been 1.5 years. I've seen that building rising up, and I've been in my office every day for 6 days a week. And I can say that we never had a problem. I mean, they use our parking lot for their heavy equipment and all this. And in 1.5 years, I give him credit, never had any problem with him or with the contractors. I was watching him almost every day. I mean, watching the contractors and advising them not to make any disturbance. And not to us as a church, not to the neighbor. So that's all what I can say about Tony and the project. Any question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in public? Seeing none, I will then close the public comment period, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the rezoning of 340 North Main Street from O1 R2 to CR.
Support.
I have a motion, I have support. May I have roll call, please?
That motion was from Mr. Nushai, and the second was from Mr. Carpenter.
I believe so.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lalonde,
Yes.
Mr. Nushai,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond,
No.
Mr. Solomon,
Yes.
Mr. Tinlin,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
and Mr. Kucera.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you back when you come in with a site plan then.
It'll be a good one.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Evening. And now we'll move on to agenda number 8, which is another public hearing. Consideration of a zoning ordinance amendment to align the Zoning Board of Appeals procedures with the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act.
All right, good evening, Planning Commission. As we briefly covered a couple meetings ago, we wanted to bring this amendment to you, just to comply and be in alignment with the Zoning Enabling Act, which requires just a majority of the ZBA members to pass a non-use variance. Right now, your ordinance has it at 4, which is more than a majority. Technically, 3 would be your majority with 5 members. So just amending the text to match the Zoning Enabling Act is recommended. The city attorney provided a memo agreeing with the fact that we should align with the Zoning Enabling Act. So just trying to keep it simple. I think it's just the best course of action, best practice to stay with the act.
And we talked about this once before, it's a public
Really
hearing.
briefly, yeah.
Okay. And I believe I asked you last time I put you on the spot, but the ZBA, I also tried to reach out to other members of the ZBA just to get their input, and everybody seems supportive of it, so just to note that. So,
And this also is a public hearing.
Yep.
Is there anyone from public wishing to opine on this matter? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing part, and I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the zoning ordinance amendment for the Zoning Board of Appeals, and recommend the adoption by City Council.
Support.
Motion support. May I have roll call, please?
And I'm sorry, that was your motion, Ms. Redmond, who was the second, Mr. Tinlin. Thank you. Trying to take notes at the same time. Mr. Nushai,
Yes.
Ms. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Solomon,
Yes.
Mr. Tinlin,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Kucera,
Yes.
and Ms. Lalonde.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Agenda item number 9 is consideration of the site plan application for 210 East 14 Mile Road, which is Renshaw's Lounge.
Yes, you are, I'm sure, all familiar with the Renshaw. Getting to the letter here. So, existing restaurant at 210 East 14 Mile. This is about a 0.6 acre site on the south side of 14 Mile Road. It's zoned CMD, Central Mixed Use. The surrounding zoning is CMD except to the south, where there is CR, and that is occupied by a single-family residence. The applicant's proposing a small addition to the rear of the building. The addition has two components. One is there is an 84-square-foot notch in the rear of the building. They want to enclose that for interior storage. No usable floor area will be added. It's just a storage space. And they also want to add 124 square feet to the canopy roof over an existing covered patio behind the building. And the extended canopy will cover the full existing patio. So there's a footprint of concrete there, and they want to extend the roof to cover the whole footprint of the concrete. It only covers a portion of it now. The dimensional requirements of the CMD district are not met, though. So typically, nonconformities can remain so long as they're not increased, but they have a nonconforming rear setback at present, and much of the proposed addition occurs within that setback. So when we look at the dimensional standards of the district, we find that the height is okay, the front and side setbacks are okay, but the rear setback existing is 25 feet to the main building, and then 10 feet, 1.5 inches to the attached storage thing that sticks out of the back of the building and the patio canopy. And then the enclosed addition occurs partly within the 30-foot setback that's required. The existing wall is 31 feet from the rear property line, so most of that enclosure comes into that setback. And then the canopy addition occurs entirely within the 30-foot setback. So we did look at some of the other CMD standards in terms of building materials, and some of these things only apply to the front facade, like transparency, so obviously that's not affected here. They do have a required screen wall in place along the back of the property. Rooftop equipment on the building is mostly screened by a parapet. They're not proposing new equipment, but there is a rooftop unit on an existing portion of the building that's just north of the proposed addition that falls outside the parapet and isn't otherwise screened. So you might want to discuss whether or not that nonconformity should be addressed, given that construction is occurring nearby. They are using cement fiber siding and engineered wood products that meet our building materials standards. They're not changing the signage or anything. Bike parking and parking in general aren't really affected by this because they're not creating any new usable floor area. They're also not indicating any new lighting. I would like them to confirm that. If they're putting any new lighting in there, we're going to have to check it for compliance. If they're not adding any new lighting, then we don't have anything to look at. So because both the building and canopy additions occur within the required 30-foot setback, approval of the proposed site plan has to include approval of a rear setback variance by the Zoning Board of Appeals. They have applied for that. If the Planning Commission is otherwise comfortable with the proposed plan, it can grant conditional approval of the site plan, subject to the applicant obtaining the variance. And of course, if they don't get the variance, they can't move forward. But basically, it's from your perspective, you have to be kind of okay with the addition in principle, knowing that the variance will be a condition of your approval. And also, I mean, so you've got a couple things you can do. You can approve with that condition. You can deny because it doesn't meet the ordinance. And then if they go get the variance, they would come back to you. And then if they have the variance, then it's a compliant, and you have to approve it. So it's kind of a matter of, are you good with giving them conditional approval, or do you want them to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals and then come back to you if they get the variance? That's really the choice you got here. Any questions for me?
Yeah, Joe, so when you said it was the entirety of the setback, does that mean it's going to go to 0?
No, it'll still be about 10 feet from the property
feet,
line.
okay.
It's just that the work occurs entirely within the setback on that canopy.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood. And then, like, the canopy, it's only the top that's covered, or is it going to be enclosed on sides?
It's not enclosed on the sides, it's a roof with a post. That's what
So
they're
there
adding.
won't be like an enclosure in the winter kind of thing? Because that would add obviously more seating, and I don't,
Sure,
Right.
we can have them address that.
Okay.
But I don't believe that's the intention. They have not indicated that on the plans.
okay.
It appears it's just an extension of the existing.
It is an extension of the existing. So right now, the canopy doesn't fully cover the cement slab there. But when they bring that notch out of the building into the building, they want to pull the canopy over to cover the whole slab.
What is that
Excuse me.
space being, what is that space being used for right now?
That's something that I'm going to let the applicant speak to and what their intention for it is in the future.
Should I be concerned about item number 7, rooftop screening?
That is something you want to discuss, yes, because there is one unscreened unit, and it's not, as obviously, there's no roof right now where they want to do the addition, but it's right north of that. So if you want some kind of screen on that item, now would be the time.
This is a site plan. So at this point in
Correct.
time, do we have drawings of what they're screening this rooftop off with?
Well, right now, most of the units are within a parapet wall, so you can't see them, but there is this one on the side.
You know
So
what?
if you're standing straight in front of the building, you can't see it because it's behind the
Yeah.
parapet. But there's a notch out of the parapet in the back, so if you're behind the building or to the side, you can still see it.
You know why I'm asking.
Yes.
Because we've had problems with rooftop screening in town, and I still have a problem with it. I don't believe that we actually signed off on that. And so I'm going to watch this one a little bit closer, see what we can do. Any further questions? for-
Joe, in our rooftop screening, does it say it's supposed to be covered 360 degrees, like all the way around? Is that a part of our, because I honestly thought it was just
It's
the.
basically for appearance, as
street.
you're driving by, you're not looking up and seeing all these air conditioning units and
Yeah.
stuff on the
Let me
roof.
bring up the exact
It's to
language.
screen it off.
for
And I
you.
understand that you don't really have to do it if you're on a side street, so much, but there has to be an order, there has to be a,
But Joe, that's in the back of the building, because I went over there, and you got to be like 12 feet away from the back, and then you got to angle. It's that small unit on the back of the building,
It's a small unit on the
right?
back, yeah.
So it's not sticking out. You got to stand back and look for it.
Is that ordinance only specific towards HVAC units, or does it cover any
anything on the roof.
any
I believe.
mechanical?
Yeah, it's roof, well, I'll just read it to you. Roof appliances such as, but not limited to, cooling towers, air conditioners, heating apparatus, dust collectors, filters, transformers, you kind of get the point.
Yeah. So everything.
So anything basically other than a flagpole or a chimney, or radio antenna, shall be enclosed with opaque screens not less in height than the height of the highest appliance as measured from the plane of the roof surface. So yeah, it does say enclosed, so
So all the way
it's
around.
got to be all the way around.
I may want to revisit another one at
Yeah.
some point in time.
I think on the west side, there's a generator exposed too, I believe.
Yeah. I have no problem with approving this and waiting for the ZBA's approval. I think we can make that a condition on our approval.
The rooftop?
No, the setbacks here. They need a variance, a rear setback variance
Oh.
from the zoning ZBA.
Yeah.
I have no problem at all putting that on our note, that they can't proceed unless they get that first. Do you have any questions for the applicant, or?
Are you thinking it's important for us to establish the rooftop screening for that approval as well, since it's in the back?
I mean, it's in the ordinance, so it's an enforcement issue.
You would
Right,
keep
right.
that in,
So
you would
it's-
add that as a condition to your motion.
Yeah, okay.
An enforcement issue, I like that.
Hello, my name's Matt Badrak. I'm the design professional on this project, just to answer some questions specific to this. Yes, you're just looking at the site plan, not the zoning stuff. We'll address that on Thursday, so we're set up for that meeting to discuss that. So yes, the addition is within that setback, but we are just extending the back of the building to the way it is right now. What this does inside, it gives us more functional kitchen space and allows, because it's a super tight kitchen right now, so it's going to allow a way more functional kitchen that operates now. So they're able to offer more menu items and have a better workflow and a better environment for their staff too. This isn't increasing any occupancy, so there's no, it's not, we're not putting any more people in here. The extension of the back patio does not, it's not a occupiable space and it's not ever enclosed. So it's just an outdoor space for people to, grab a smoke break and then go back inside. So we're just extending that to match the existing slab that's out there and square off this corner. The applicant, Mike Lang, the owner of the building, is here to answer any additional sort of operational questions if you have them for him, or I can answer any technical questions.
Any questions for the applicant?
I think you answered my thing.
We're all good?
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion then.
I will make a motion to approve, hold on, sorry, I didn't have it right there. Somebody else can make the motion.
I'll do it. I make a motion to approve the site plan application for 210 East 14 Mile Road, Renshaw Lounge, with the condition that the zoning board of appeal approves the variance request.
Support.
Motion support. Does
Just
anyone-
point discussion, are we adding anything
Yeah, I was
around the
just gonna
screen?
say that.
Is the chair
Can I
going to
amend
talk
it?
about the rooftop screening? I
I've
just-
got that. Do you want to add that as a
As
condition
a
of approval?
condition.
Do I have to amend it now?
Yes, please.
And also add an amendment to that motion that we make a conditional approval that there's the rooftop screening is brought up to code.
Support.
Good. Good. We all happy? Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Solomon,
Yes.
Mr. Tinlin,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Kucera,
Yes.
Ms. Lalonde,
Yes.
and Mr. Nushai. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Clausen. Okay, move on to agenda number 10 is consideration of the site plan application for 860 Batter Avenue, which is a primary caregiver facility.
All right, good evening, Planning Commission. Again, happy to go over this staff review real quick. Obviously, at the August 12th Planning Commission meeting, you postponed this decision based on some missing items. We provide that list in the staff report, straight out of the minutes. So the list of those items are as follows. So one, the items on the AEW engineering report be clarified. The applicant provided a revised plan, provided some additional information. I believe they consulted with an engineer as well to go over some of the specifics with the city of Troy regarding their utilities, as you'll see in the packet. Number two, parking requirements for the ordinance are defined. I'll get to that in this report. Just bear with me. We'll go over parking in a moment. The Troy Sewer private agreement be provided. So there's information from the city of Troy. Their city engineer confirmed something along the lines of the existing infrastructure can be reused or can be continue to be used in this fashion. There is a private agreement with the landscaping company that was signed by both parties, it appears, that was provided. Did that make the packet, Nick? Okay, so that did make the packet. A detailed landscaping plan was provided, so I'll go over that in the staff report as well. Photometric plan provided, I'll go over that in the staff report. Again, these are zoning things that I'll touch on. Explanation of cinder block windows, I'll go over that. Carbon filtration system, I'll go over that. I'll really go over all the rest in my report. Including the fire marshal, I provide a summary of their comment. So I'm going to jump into the review itself. So the first key point from last meeting is the parking. So Obviously, we went over it in detail last meeting. 15 spaces are required based on the square footage. They provide that, however, they provide in a way that looks like there's some double parked situation going on. It looks like 3 spaces are double parked. Generally, that is going to automatically interfere with maneuverability by the ordinance's intent. So I think that's something that you'll definitely want to deliberate on and potentially go over with the applicant. We do understand they are making the most out of the land that they are given. However, you know, sometimes there are other avenues to go about that. You know, perhaps trimming some of the floor space, or perhaps seeking a variance through the zoning board of appeals would be better options here than putting forth a double parking situation, which isn't great for maneuverability and the intent of the zoning ordinance. Landscaping is the next one. So that was one of the topics that they, in our opinions, made really solid progress on. They provide more trees, more shrubs in the front yard. They provide species, sizes. So generally, just a basic landscaping plan. The basic landscaping plan requirements of the zoning ordinance are met now with this landscaping plan. Trash enclosure. So the applicant clarified really what's going on with their their waste management plan. So it appears that they will be using a locked dumpster adjacent to the facility to store waste. That's what they put in their little written summary. That is conceivably the dumpster that they've just added to their site plan in between last meeting and now. And then they'll also be using, it looks like, rolling waste containers, it looks like, to store the marijuana waste. So they have the 2 different trash disposal methods. One, the dumpster for conceivably non-marijuana waste, and then the rolling 100-gallon bins for the marijuana waste. The one thing is that the applicant argues that they are screened from public view by being behind the locked gate. You should probably weigh the fact that they're not actually providing an enclosure. Instead, they're relying on a gate and fencing to screen the dumpster from view. So that's something the planning commission should discuss here. Lighting and photometric plan was provided. There are 7 mounted fixtures that are present, but they should be confirmed that they are all being shielded to be made full cutoff. Or there shall be details provided that indicate that these are IES type 3 or type F compliant fixtures. Also, there is a lighting fixture on the east wall, which is a little bit odd. That's right on the property line, so that's going to light right up into that property. I understand nobody's there right now; it's vacant. But if something's built there in the future, the lighting's really going to be, encroaching the property. Regarding the caregivers, so the applicant went over this last meeting, and I think the plans are pretty clear. But if you wish to verbally confirm this with the applicant, you may, because it's not really written down anywhere. The fact that the floor plan does not currently say that, rooms 1 and 2 belong to caregiver 1 or caregiver A. Rooms 3 and 4 belong to caregiver B. Rooms 5 and 6 belong to caregiver C. So that should be provided to make sure that every caregiver is allocated the minimum 750 square feet of floor area. Odor, the planning commission is required to approve the odor. The applicant did provide some specifications of these carbon filters and these can fans, which are the kind of the high grade industrial fans. Applicant provided additional information such as copies of the current primary caregiver state licenses, all the notarized statements, acknowledging the use, holding the city harmless, allowing city inspection. They have all the, written plan documentation pertaining to the use standards of section 4.51. For other agency review, AEW provided a new engineering review dated the 7th or the 8th of this month. Police department we didn't hear from them in between meetings, I don't think, but I believe they would like that condition to be kept. The suggested condition that a video surveillance system on the premises be installed and operated. I believe the applicant has confirmed they will do so, so I don't think that's a huge issue, but we just want to make sure the police department sees that this condition, if you wish to approve this, is still on the books. Fire department approved the access, but they do request a Knox box on the gate and exterior doors and a key access to the building and suites. So again, if you wish to approve this, I recommend you put that as a condition of your approval. That is the report. AEW wrote the report as well, that's in the packet. And if you keep scrolling through the packet, you will see the, sorry, I'm kind of out of the loop on some of it, but I believe the consulting engineer working for the applicant wrote a letter to the city of Troy regarding the utilities, and the city of Troy responded back and said no changes are required at this time regarding utilities. Maybe I'm just skipping over it, but I don't know if I see the landscaping agreement. Not the landscape, the agreement with the landscaping company. But it's in there somewhere.
Page 125.
You probably have it memorized, don't you, Nick? Oh, yep, I see it now. Yep, so the adjacent property, and the applicant have, both signed the letters stating that, the landscape building supply code grants, any maintenance and repair of that line, so long as the 860 batter folks do the work and, are charged with doing the work, so.
Is that part of our conditions then?
Yeah, I would say that generally suffices for the, sorry, I'm bringing up the staff report. That generally suffices your one finding in your postponement that, sorry, I'm bringing up it now. So if you go to the first page of our Giffords-Webster review, I would say that suffices. The one part of bullet point 3, the private agreement regarding the water and sanitary that runs through that landscaping supply company's property.
You're saying that's fulfilled? Because
I believe so.
in the AEW letter, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but
I can
it
touch
says,
on that real quick.
okay.
Yeah, we received the AEW review letter before
I'm like,
they
I'm
sent
sorry.
this, and so I did let Mike know, and we got this, Thursday before the packet goes out, and so Mike, I'll talk to the planning commission, let him know that he looked at it, was fine, and there's no comments, but he was in the middle of a project, so he couldn't change his letter, but that
Was
is
there-
addressed.
So just to be clear, he's approving the shared sanitary system between the landscape company and
So,
the applicant?
well, I think there's two agreements, there's the city of Troy, and I think that's what Ms. Redmond was referring to, correct or no?
Well, there's a lot in their letter, so both are in there, yeah.
Okay, so regarding the city of Troy, AEW sent their review letter in beforehand. That was shared with us later in the week. And so he did review it. City of Troy doesn't have an issue with them maintaining stormwater as is. So the agreement with the landscape company was reviewed, and he had no comments on that.
But AEW is approving a shared sanitary system with the landscape company. So it's
Troy is.
No, the sanitary goes through Clausen. It's the
Yes.
storm goes through Troy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So they're approving that?
Existing, yes. I don't think that would be approved for a brand-new project, but because it's existing, that's what's there now, yes.
And the landscaping, they have to maintain, okay. Can you go over other points on this, real quick while you're here, Nick? If there's other points on the engineering report that maybe have been addressed, or was that the only other thing that changed on the, because they had kind of quite a list of,
Yeah, if you just want to ask your questions, I can just run through them that way, if that's okay.
I mean, sure, sure, let's see, the screening, there was another agreement, that was a sanitary. Troy. There's about 4 or 5 different points where it says, no response to the letter was provided. So those are the specific ones I'm talking about, such as you address the site's utility, the applicant to provide agreement, sorry, that's the same thing. Vegetation growing along property lines needs to be removed and cleaned up. No response was provided. The black wall along the west property line needs repair. No response was provided. I think those were the ones that we didn't address yet. We're gonna talk about dumpster.
I'm not sure how the city handles, you mentioned the block wall needs repair. Well, the block wall is actually part of advanced landscaping property, I believe. They own the wall.
That is correct.
Can the city mandate that they fix their wall? How do we deal with a problem like that?
I don't know if you've driven by it, I think that.
I've driven by it, yeah.
Certainly does need attention. But yes, we can,
As a point of code enforcement.
yes,
Yeah, you-
but not directly related to this site plan.
Okay, so it's something that we shouldn't consider as a condition because it's not their
It's
responsibility?
not their property, yes.
Okay.
Worthy of enforcement, yes, not for the site
You're
plan.
not allowed to have
Okay.
your brick wall fall over on your neighbor's property, you know,
But you can have your tree. No,
but we have to have an enforcement
I won't go there.
look at that. Would have to be taken care of.
And as far as the vegetation, I know they had a lot of cleanup around the building along with the lot that's next to it as well. They cut down the whole forest, I believe, right?
Yes.
So that was addressed as well? That's already taken care of? I figure, okay.
Under 13,
Sorry.
13C, where you're talking about odor, the beginning sentence says, "Planning Commission is required to approve the odor control methods in compliance with 4.51.d.6." How are we required to approve odor control methods? I mean, we're not in that business, I don't believe.
It's a good question. I think you should, to me, I think you want to verify that they have a contract or they've contracted with a HVAC company to install these filters, install these fans, or have at least bought the equipment or the fans or the filters. So
Yeah,
that
that's
they're at
something
least.
we don't do ourselves, so we'd have
I
to
mean, I
stipulate that.
think your point's valid in that you are not odor experts and that the ordinance kind of leaves a little bit of room for interpretation, discretion there. But maybe you ask about, I don't know, I mean, Joe, is there, or Nick, would you suggest any other, obviously odor can be a nuisance.
How would we know that that's being followed up on? You know, it's,
Yeah, so there's a couple things you can do there. One is you have performance standards related to odor in your odor ordinance, so they need to be meeting those. They also need to be in compliance with the state standards for ventilation of a facility like this. So, both of those things can be integrated into a motion, just to emphasize the need to mitigate odor. They have some pretty specific standards that they have to meet from the state. So I think Andy has a point when he says verifying that they have actually done the homework about talking to the provider to make sure that they can meet those standards.
Right, yes, but I don't see that we're actually responsible. Are we going to put it on our list of things that they have
I've
to
got it.
comply with? But that's an enforcement problem with
Well, and I was
administration.
wondering if, like, there's so many regulations from the state on these businesses, is that one of them, or no? Because Eagle does have quite a lot of details on
Yeah.
the type of ventilation. Is that something that they come out during any type of licensing or regulation process and check on, or?
I'm not sure offhand who exactly at the state level is doing that inspection, but they are being inspected by the state. It's somebody from the state. I don't know who it is exactly. I don't know if it's Eagle or if it's Laura.
Right, or multiple, right? I
It
didn't know
could-
if they
it could
had
be
multiple
multiple,
different,
yeah.
right? They might have, who knows?
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick, I lied. There was one other thing on the engineering report that I wasn't sure if was addressed because it was on the poles along the back lot line from an old fence, I believe. You're looking like
I thought it said.
Never heard that before,
They
huh?
were removed. I thought I read that.
They were removed or not identified?
I don't know what page that was, sorry.
I believe you're looking at, it's on the last page of AEW's letter, page 5, the second to last bold statement from them. The revised site plan contains a note indicating the existing fence posts have been removed in the
Oh, I
area.
haven't, sorry, I must have misread.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
A lot of information, thank you.
Can I ask a question, Nick, here? Fire marshal, did they ever look at the gate? I know that was a point of
Yes,
confusion.
he reviewed it and is happy with the way it's presented. He went out there and met with, I believe he met with the property owner, and I know John, our fire marshal, went to the site more than once, did his own measurements and was fine with how it was presented.
Okay, thank you.
But do they still need to inspect or no? So are they
Yes,
good
so-
with the fire? Okay.
So,
They still need to knock.
yes, so they don't have a certificate of occupancy yet, so let's say they get their site plan approved, they'll make any other improvements they need whenever they're ready for their C of O. Both our building official and fire marshal will go and inspect. to
But we
make
don't need to make it a condition?
No,
Because
because
that's part of the process.
Yes, so
Okay,
I mean,
just
he'll
making
go out
sure.
there and ensure the Knox box is there. I would still probably include that in the motion, just because that's what Giffords has asked for, but
Okay.
he will be there regardless.
Okay,
You can
Thank you.
cite the police department and fire department's comments.
Okay.
as just as written.
that makes it so easy.
The
Yes.
the wording's a little bit difficult on the police department.
So, real
Police
quick, Mr.
department
Sarah,
Police department, pardon?
I will add, they do have cameras on that site now.
Oh, okay. But it says the police department requests that to better the protection, health, safety, general welfare of the public, and to deter or prevent break-ins, a video surveillance system on the premises shall be installed and operated. So it's kind of like we're asking you to, and then we're telling you you have to have one.
Well, I can confirm, they do have
If
surveillance there, and
if I
when he
had-
dropped off one of the applications, he was showing me on his phone the angles
I
and
think it was
cameras.
enough.
If I had that business, I'd have security on it too, believe me. That kind of makes common sense. The fire department requests a knock box.
So I guess maybe you wouldn't, so to be strict about the language here, you wouldn't just adopt the language in the staff report, you would instead just say a condition to require a video surveillance system on the premises be installed and operated, and then a condition that says that you require a Knox box access on the gate and exterior doors and a key access to the building.
Right, but that's optional too, a knock box.
You know.
No, I think the fire marshal is asking.
Yes.
I swear we tried that in town about 10 years ago. We went around to every business in town and said, hey, buy out one of these knock boxes, put it on your building so we don't have to break your door when your place catches fire. And a lot of people turned it down.
So we've started requiring it for new constructions.
Oh, on new construction,
Right,
okay.
so 516 North Main, they have a Knox box there, so if there's a new commercial development, they're required to have
So
them,
now it's required on new.
yes.
Okay.
And I can't speak with 100% confidence, but I believe there might have been something that changed in the state's fire code. I'd have to confirm, but I know that we have more grounds to be able to enforce new development to have Knox boxes.
And I wonder how that ordinance got changed. I wasn't aware of any
I'm saying
conversation on it.
state regulations for fire,
Okay.
I believe.
And I do think we have something in our ordinance about video surveillance at this particular site, right? Already, anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I
there's
thought it
something
was.
about a a security plan.
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah.
know if it goes as detailed as
Yeah.
say video surveillance.
I mean, a condition could just be to maintain existing surveillance on site.
Okay.
I believe there was potentially one more
No,
question.
I was just gonna agree. I mean, I was confused why that keeps getting brought up, because it was in their operations plan, and they always, like, specifically said they had video surveillance, that they were gonna keep it for 45 days, so it is in this packet that we have, which is good.
I mean,
And then confirmed by Nick.
Could we drop it as a condition, because they've actually provided it on paper that they are doing it?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
But the Knox box, I think, is that's a
Okay.
different issue, because they haven't stated they are providing a Knox box, so include that as a condition.
Yes.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with
Okay.
Randy.
Just to make sure, we want their odor control compliant with city and state regulations?
Yes.
Correct, okay.
In terms of parking, and the allotted number of required parking spaces, since this isn't a storefront facility, and it's very clear that only certain number of allowed people are on site, the caregivers themselves, I guess their patients and the owner, and I guess if any other work, the likelihood that anybody's going to be there all at the same time seems like it would be slim. So would it just be a variance requested based
Yeah,
on?
I believe it should be a variance request to the zoning board of appeals, because it's very clear that they're not in the business, or they don't want to trim down their building to right-size their building for parking, where they will just need to argue that they have practical difficulties because of the shape of the building, size of the building, and limit of parking surface, and go before the board. I think there's just those two options. It's trim your building down to comply with the square footage, or seek a variance by the zoning board of appeals. In my opinion, and in our opinion of reading the ordinance, there's nothing that gives a planning commission to give a discretionary waiver of parking. I think you can in the CMD district or in your downtown, but not in I-1.
Especially with this
It's-
use, because you're not even allowed patients there, right?
mean, the
As
other-
far as I remember, I don't even think patients are allowed there, so it's truly just the workers.
It's
Right?
it's
It
truly a
sounded like they
very
could come to obtain their.
correct. I don't think
product.
they can do the transaction of the cannabis right there at the site. So I think it should just be the workers anyways. It is, we understand it is kind of a mind-boggling parking calculation because of the fact that hardly anyone's going to be in there. That being said, I think the ordinance is pretty clear that it is a requirement that you provide this much parking, and they're providing it in a really unconventional manner by providing 3 vehicles to double park 3 vehicles. I think because of that, the only options are for the applicant to downsize their building or ask for a variance request. Or they can ask to amend the ordinance, submit a text amendment that right sizes their parking, but that's a process that needs to take, what, 2.5, 3 months? If they were to do a text amendment that says, we want cannabis caregivers to have 2 spaces plus 1 per every caregiver or something along those lines.
So the route we can do is just place the ZBA.
You would
variance
condition
request.
that the applicant comply with the parking or seek a variance through the zoning board of appeals. Because maybe they do want to trim 300 whatever it is, 300 square feet, 1,000 square feet off their mezzanine or the second floor to come into compliance. But we understand that's a challenge.
I guess the only other thing that I don't know that we've talked about is an enclosure for the waste material. I mean, they have, what appeared like rolling bins that were lockable, which seemed
I believe
very
those are going
portable.
inside the building.
Those are inside the building.
Yeah, to my knowledge, the rolling, you might want to ask the applicant that, because I don't think we know for sure, but to my knowledge, usually when you have rolling bins, you're storing them inside of a storage room in the building, but maybe that should be confirmed. The dumpster, though, is in the rear yard, screened from public view, but it doesn't have like a distinct enclosure.
And that's locked as well, I thought. I thought we talked about the dumpster last time. for
I think
some
it's
reason.
locked behind a locked gate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That might be something to ask the applicant, if there's some other mechanism that's locking the lid of the dumpster.
Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah.
And I thought we were all comfortable with it last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, I wasn't here.
yeah, you weren't here yet, so don't feel bad. But I'm like, maybe I'm crazy, maybe. Okay.
And to be clear, this is the first and only grow facility, I mean medicinal, but otherwise in the city.
It's a caregiver, just FYI, yeah.
Well, no, I understand, I'm
Yeah.
saying medicinal, so
Oh.
caregiver,
I think,
yeah.
Nick, you can, that's
And-
correct?
and
Yep.
There's no allowable commercial grow facilities under any ordinance, correct?
Not-
That's
Okay.
correct.
So this is all new,
It
basically.
is for all of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Further questions for Andy? You have any questions for the applicant?
I don't know if they want to talk, but not really.
Would you like to come to the microphone, please?
Hello, everyone. This is Greg Bono. He's the site plan engineer that drew up all the site plans and got in touch with the city of Troy for the easement and all that. If there's any questions that you guys need to ask, hopefully we can answer for you.
I think we've got some stipulations we're going to put on you. I think you can conform to those with no problem. I was interested in the waste of materials. It sounds like no legitimate marijuana is going to be sitting out there in the dumpster. It's going to be destroyed or wasted somehow or mixed.
For the waste, there's certain companies that come and pick up the waste. So it'll be stored inside the facility. The dumpster won't have any clippings or branches or leaves or any of that sort of, the plants. The dumpster is just basically for regular garbage that will be dumped in there. But like I said, there's special companies that come out and pick up those wastes that we have that will be stored inside the facility.
Okay.
So no one can go in a dumpster and actually try to find clippings.
Right,
or
that's what I was,
marijuana or
that was the
anything
point I was going to, just to keep
Yeah.
vandals out of it. So anything that's in your dumpster is not worth diving for.
No, I mean, they'll find
Yeah.
trash pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing of any use.
I have a general question that kind of ties into traffic flow and parking and whatnot. How exactly does the business, what's the process? Do people come in there and take care of their product themselves, or does somebody else do that and they come and just pick it up? What's the transaction
The
process?
caregiver grows the product for the patients, and then the caregivers deliver the product to the patients.
Okay.
So as far as like the parking situation, there won't be more than 3-4 cars there at any time max, so it's not open for retail, and, you're not gonna have traffic, people coming in and out, it's just pretty much the caregivers and, so the parking is really not an issue, but according to the ordinance, based on the square footage,
So the end user never comes, essentially. It's the caregiver, which, for all intents and purposes, could be the employee of
yes,
of your facility, right?
exactly,
But there's not an end user that's coming in,
no.
and okay.
So that's why the parking wouldn't be an issue.
So would you meet the parking requirement if you opened up parking in the rear, provided that they have access?
Well, the parking in the rear, that's where,
Yeah, that is how it's designed.
that's how it's designed,
There's
yeah.
parking in the front, too.
No,
Well,
there's
there's
not parking in
two-
the front, there's not. I mean, there is in functions, yeah, somebody can conceivably go park in the driveway, but not legally on a site plan.
Okay.
All the parking
Okay.
legally in a site plan takes place in the rear. I also wanna just bring up another option, I know we discussed trimming the building down, obtaining a variance. There's also the ability for them to get an agreement from a property in the area to give them 3 spaces. So that's
I was
really a
gonna, I was
third.
gonna recommend
Yeah.
that from the advanced.
Yep, so
and
that's
I
actually
think
a
they
third
would-
option
They would
that-
be willing to do that.
So I think
Wow.
a potential condition could just be parking comply with the ordinance. Or provide compliant parking, and that could be one of those 3 ideas. Trim the building, get a shared parking agreement from a neighbor, or get a variance.
Yeah.
And leave it up to them to figure out.
Can I ask you a few questions? About the, we were talking a little bit about the smell, the HVAC and, you know, the air cleaning and stuff like that. Do you want to speak to any of that, just to kind of bring us
Well,
into?
the facility will have 5-foot carbon filters with fans that sucks in the odor. And those will be placed throughout the building. I mean, you actually only need like 3, 4, but we've purchased 12. So just to have extras.
And does, excuse me, does the state come out and check those things just for our knowledge? Not really?
No, because that's the best that's out there on the market. are
Okay.
These filters that we purchase, and, you know, all the dispensaries, all the state grows actually use these, so. They're, you know, the best ones on the market that we're using, and like I said, we have 12 on hand at the premises.
And you'll be using all 12?
We probably won't need to, but
Right.
just in case one breaks down.
Understood.
We'll have the extras, but, you know, we'll use them accordingly.
Yeah.
And do you have any background in this business at all, or is this your first time going into it?
Well, I'm involved with Wild Bill's Tobacco and Levels Cannabis.
Oh,
I'm a senior partner at Wild Bill's and Levels Cannabis, so we have, you know, a state grow. We also have multiple dispensaries and obviously the tobacco stores, the Wild Bill's Tobacco. So,
Right.
you know, we have a little history and background in
Okay.
tobacco.
Good.
industry.
thank you.
Will you have any issues labeling the site plan for caregiver rooms as brought up at the beginning? Where he was, you know, bringing up the fact that having, you know, a name identified with each
Yeah,
room?
that's not an issue.
Not an
because
issue.
We have suite, you know, A, B, C, or
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and each caregiver would be assigned to one of the suites.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
That's not a problem, okay.
And each room has a keypad where they have their own code to go in and go out of those, you know, their own room.
Okay. I think
Further
we've
questions?
narrowed it down.
If nothing further, I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you. You guys might have to help me out if I'm leaving something out. I got lots of
I thought you
cross-outs
wrote
and
them all
added
down,
to. I was.
I've got my list over here too, so I'll help with that.
I move to approve the site plan application for 860 Batter with the conditions that they provide compliant parking, shield lights, and, you know, are compliant to our lighting ordinance. They identify caregivers on the site plan. They meet state and city standards for the odor, and they are compliant with the police department's request to maintain video surveillance and the fire department's request for Knox box. How'd I do?
Good.
Yeah.
We pretty much have all that, except that Knox box. Now, the front door does have a keypad. So I can always provide a code for the fire marshal where he can.
You'll have to check with Nick, and he'll let you know how.
what you said in the motion is perfect. It covers fire department's access.
Yeah.
That's cool, yeah, you can work that out.
Support?
Support, anybody want to add or subtract anything? Anybody happy with it? All good, can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Solomon,
Yes.
Mr. Tinlin,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Kucera,
Yes.
Ms. Lalonde,
Yes.
Mr. Nushai, and Ms. Redmond.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome to Clausen.
Thank you
When,
for your patience.
when do you think you're going to go work on it?
I'm sorry?
When are you going to get to work on it? Are you starting already, or?
Well, I mean, we've done most of the construction, but we're just waiting for the C of O so we can move forward, and, that's what's been holding us up.
Before the end of the year or next year sometime?
Hopefully, we'll, by the end of the year, you know, like within a month or so.
Oh, good, good.
But, I mean, I don't, Nick, do we need to, like, are we gonna have the C of O where we can move forward, or is there other inspections that need to be?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is addressing all the items in the PC motion, then we can get the C of O inspection, so, it could be a couple weeks, it could be a month.
I mean, the knock box, or knock, we could get that installed by the end of the week, and then the letter from the
Oh, yeah, did I put that?
grants, I could get
Well,
that.
no.
Yeah, it's as soon as you can, accomplish the, open items from the PC.
Okay, so I think, what is it, just those two items pretty much, right? Well, you'll email me.
Yep, we'll touch base this week.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Move on to agenda item number 11, which is the planner's report.
I don't know if he heard you.
Do we have a planner's report tonight? Don't want to wake him up.
Okay, he said, Nick said no.
No planner's report tonight, right? No. Okay, we're going to pass on the planner's report. Staff report and training opportunities.
All right, thank you. Let's see. So again, I'll remove the note about the short-term rental ordinance being approved since that is now officially in effect. I guess we'll just say congratulations one more time. That was a long process. Moving on to some development updates. 440 West 14 Mile continues moving forward. I don't know if any of you have driven by 172 West 14 Mile, the former Burger King site. They have additional site screening around that property to start doing work. They're gonna. Their intent is to get all the underground and site work prepared, as well as the foundation done by the winter. So they'll be moving forward on that. So we do have screening around that property, and the sidewalks are closed on 14 Mile just to maintain public safety.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be a phased approach? I think that was mentioned before.
Yes, so they're approved for a phased approach, so they'll be working on the first floor, which is the 3 commercial spaces first. And then I don't know the exact timeline and conditions once that's done, when they need to come back or if they come back after. But the goal is to get the first floor done, get a C of O for those, and then in the future, do the second and third floors.
Thanks.
Yep. Moving on. Site work at Shalm has begun and continues. The Baker engineering plan for the 13 homes that'll be going there is under, ideally, the last engineering review, so they may be coming back in front of the Planning Commission for their final preliminary condo approval to continue moving forward on that project. And then, other than that, those are the highlights development-wise to bring forward. I do have an update on the conversation about the North Main Road Diet potential pilot that we've done. So that is not going to end up happening this fall due to just timeline. I think we were a little bit forward-leaning on that to get. We received the quotes from several companies that do the striping for that and the temporary barricades. And the timeline was just going to end up pushing it into November, which affects leaf season, and then just a general flow of traffic. We have a few other items we want to address with the police department just on some of the access points off of the side roads. So I do think that we'll be able to work out something that's better for the community, especially if it's something long-term that we're looking at. We want to make sure we do the pilot program right. But other than that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
It looks like we're counting cars on Main Street now, right? There's rubber tubes going across the street.
At what intersection?
Right from PNC Bank over almost Broadacre. Looks like 4 black rubber tubes. Cars are bouncing home. I'm assuming there's a car counter.
Yeah.
Yes, that could be SEMCOG, or I know the police department works with TAA on just general traffic counts as well. I don't know specifically what that's for.
Okay. I don't think they're power lines.
Hope not.
I think we would know by now.
Hey, Nick, I have a question. Right next to where we're putting the dispensary there in Batter, what are they going to build next to it? They cleared that whole lot off that had been a forest for 20 years, right?
Yes. So it's funny, Joe and I exchanged some emails with the new homeowners, property owners there. That sounds like long-term, they want to use it as kind of just like a storage facility with an office. They've talked about some short-term temporary uses of the land, and so we're looking at scheduling a meeting with them to figure out if they need a temporary use, site plan, something like that. And so they basically just said this month they want to store gravel there, and so we're not going to allow that. So Joe and I are going to meet with them beforehand to come likely to the planning commission or ZBA, depending on what exactly they're going to be doing.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
On site plan updates, you have Biscuits and Gravy. It says engineering plan submitted and currently under review. What are they doing? I thought they were talking about paving more of their parking lot, but that went away, right?
Yes, that went away, and I've left that just on there because I think it's still something open that they're considering, but it's not a priority for them at the moment.
Can we look into their rooftop screening by any chance?
We can.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. And another thing, have you noticed that Barb's Pasties in town, they put a big mural on the side of their building?
Yes, sir. That was the one I missed that I didn't have in here. So I'm sure everyone saw that on Facebook that they did that. And so the property owner of Barb's reached out to the city before that. I let them know that this needs to get planning commission approval beforehand. And if for whatever reason they want to move forward and do the mural, they would have to still apply to get approval afterwards. But if the planning commission doesn't approve it, they'd just have to repaint it over with a white paint. And so they decided to move forward. We do have their application on file, and it should be going in front of you the next meeting on October 28th.
So we'll be able to approve what's already there.
Or you could tell them to paint over it.
Are they not aware that they're supposed to come in front of the city and get a permit to do something like that?
It was told that they need to get approval before.
I can just see businesses all around town just grabbing cans of spray paint and painting whatever they want on them, that you would think that, they did it a couple of times. There was the frame place where the apartments now are, where Ace Apartments are, they painted a garage door with aliens. We had a problem with them. They said they'll take care of it. And there was a dumpster up on 14 Mile that some guy customized, painted the dumpster, and we took care of that.
So I don't want to jump the gun and tell their story, but I think that the opportunity that was presented to them is something they didn't want to pass up on.
It sounded like a family friend or member, somebody came in that was well-known.
Yes, and so the application that they have is probably one of the more complete, I don't want to call it a site plan because it's a mural, but he's very thorough in his application explanation. So I think once you have that in front of you, you'll kind of understand where they were coming from. But again, that'll be in front of you the 28th.
Okay, my preference is just simply that we approve them before they're
It
completed.
makes our life a lot easier if they get approval beforehand as well.
Yeah, okay. Anything else for?
Related to that, I'm sorry, you want to go?
No, go ahead. If it's related, I'm going to.
Just because I remember the DDA had mentioned that they want to stand up a mural program as well. Like, I don't know if that's additional, how does that work? And have you heard anything else? Because I know we obviously changed.
Yeah, so specifically, so that property isn't in the downtown, so I don't know if it would fall under the DDA guidelines, but it's a good segue into the next mural that we'll be discussing. So Red and the Wolf, who now has just opened up at the former Zioli's site, there was that Zioli's mural on their west-facing wall that they currently just have painted over. And so they're working on a new mural that they'll be applying for to the planning commission whenever that's ready. It might be the 28th, it might be after there. He's still working with the artist on the design of that. And I believe he's applying to go in for the DDA as well for grant money. And so we're trying to figure out how to totally get this mural program going so it's not just, do you meet these 3 bullet points? You're good to go. Because that's essentially what it is right now.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to make sure if it was cohesive with everything that we have in place today.
Yeah.
And if they're looking to go out and get others to potentially look at creating more art around town. I think that was kind of what the general purpose is.
That's definitely what we're trying to do. There's been a few other folks that we've talked to in town that have done public art, maybe not here, but are certainly interested in doing more murals and art in downtown Clawson.
Look forward to hearing more. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I was waiting. But, so we did receive an email. I don't know if you received it as well from a resident who He had concerns about the building on 14 Mile. I'm assuming everybody received it?
440?
Yeah. Did not everybody receive it?
Yeah.
Okay. And just some things to follow up on that, because she was discussing, the resident was discussing the hours that they were working, as well as, it didn't seem, I know Burger King's nice and screened off, but wouldn't that apply to that building as well? Is there something that we need to switch up in an ordinance somewhere to make sure that residents aren't bearing the dust in the, early noise?
So I got the emails when I spoke to the resident, and that same day, our code enforcement officer and building official went there. They cleaned up the site, and our building official went by there today, so they're being more tidy. So that specifically on the east side, there's a bit of a slope down to that driveway that the Middle Eastern Bible Church has. There's just not a good location for where the fence can go with the sidewalk, and they don't want to close the sidewalk off there, because then that all 14 Mile people would either be walking right next to the road. And so technically, yes, they should have a fence, but we just felt that generally for public safety, it's best not to.
So is there not any screening anywhere around that site then?
They're adding screening to the rear of the property still. So it's they removed the existing, and they'll be adding screening afterwards. There was just no temporary screening installed.
But couldn't they still add it along the back of the property? I mean, I know it's kind of coming towards complete, they've already cut the brick, so the dust isn't quite as bad, but
Yes.
in the future, is that something that we can ensure, like if it's facing a residential property, even if it's something that's stands on the concrete and that you move it open and close, I think I don't think that's too, I would probably have a problem with that if I was living next door to that, right? And there is a noise ordinance for workers, right?
Yes,
That
and we
people
talked
can
about that.
reference?
We reiterated that to the,
We do have hours that they can start
Yes.
operating, right?
yes.
Are they allowed to work on Sundays?
No.
So when residents, again, if
So
residents,
it-
there's no
So
enforcement though
that,
on
and,
Sunday.
and that's where our ordinance and policies kind of differ. The ordinance has time, but not a specific date. I've scoured the ordinance, there's not like a Monday through Saturday, but during our pre-development meetings, pre-construction meetings, we tell them, generally, we only allow Monday through Saturday and not on Sunday, same with our public property developments. So there's not an exact ordinance that says no on Sundays, but our general guideline is don't work on Sundays. And at the end of the day, a lot of times, they don't want to work on Sundays either, is what we
Yeah.
found.
Well, and is there time limits there is time limits on our ordinance though, isn't there?
It's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And
Oh.
depending on, sometimes it's to 9 p.m. There's some district standards that differ a little bit.
Interesting. So is that
Yes.
something that we might be able to address in a future meeting with days? Or is that just something you feel like is best addressed through suggestion?
I don't know if it would hurt to have days in the ordinance, but I also do think that there's times where there's projects that timing is important, where sometimes if working on a Sunday is more beneficial to complete a project sooner. There's standards in the zoning ordinance and code of ordinances that refer to noise. And they're not completely different, but sometimes the wording differs. And so, which one are we going to use to send a notice to them about? And so I think generally that should be looked at as a whole. But I don't know if it's an immediate concern compared to some of the other ordinances we talked about
Yeah.
today.
And it becomes an enforcement problem, and I hate to lay it on the police, but they seem to be the only ones in town and working the weekends and everything else. But you will notice a lot of people will re-roof their house, or they'll put a fence in on a Saturday or Sunday, because they know there's no one around enforcing it.
I can say very confidently that we've had numerous people do work over the weekends, and they get a notice on that Monday or Tuesday, and they come into City Hall angry, and they pull their permit, and the work is okay.
And they pull the permit, is there a penalty with it, or?
A double fee, or it's $100 or more, it's typically double fee.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to be fair, it is different though. Like when the resident wrote the email, she was talking about just having a day to just like a reprieve. If they're dealing with it 24/7, 7 days a week, it is a lot. That's your whole summer, right? So I am empathetic to that, and I wish there was some way to kind of address that, because that's tough, right? Especially, she said, like one of the fences were removed in that they have dogs, and so it seems like there are some areas that maybe we can tighten up so that there's a mechanism to pull it.
Certainly. And we also have construction standards that we provide to the developers, but it's nothing in the ordinance. And so, follow these standards, and then if we ask where in the ordinance is it, we're like,
There's no mechanism for enforcing.
yes, we're like, be a good community partner and follow them has kind of been our general guideline,
Yeah,
which
okay.
doesn't always work well.
Well, and sometimes it's not even the developer, right? You have employees that are coming and going, right?
Correct. Yeah, and a lot of
That wanna
time
go.
it is the employees, and because they have subcontractors, and they just might not know.
Yeah, okay.
So what's it take to actually establish actual, an ordinance for job site standards?
That would likely fall in the general code of ordinances. I don't know if we could do anything in the zoning ordinance specifically, but we can explore that for sure.
I mean, because like, going back to that site on 14 Mile, I mean, they haven't maintained that fence almost the entire time of the construction process. You're talking about, safety. I mean, there's nothing safe about it, right? When the sidewalks are obstructed, there's no fencing at all, there's heavy equipment, all the two sites, the other sites around town have fencing. And,
Burger King's had fencing
They have
forever, right?
yeah, so I mean, I just think that whole thing needs to be really overlooked.
I
and
completely agree.
enforced. I mean, we have to hold these contractors to a standard and enforce it. And I hear what you're saying, if it's not actually in the ordinance, oh, well, tried.
Well, he's not saying, oh, well, to your
Well, no, I mean, they're
but-
saying that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
the city can do if it's not in the standards. So
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, it is kind of, oh, well, because,
So Nick, that's at the council level though, right, to change those ordinances?
We'll have to see how the zoning ordinance and code differs, if there is any difference, but it'll come back to either you with an update and to them with an actual amendment or some type of zoning ordinance amendment to the council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have no legal update tonight because we have no city attorney. Any further comments before we adjourn?
Just one, because I was kind of going through, and one of my neighbors, I think, was trying to email all of us. And the first Google result is in maybe not updated page for Planning Commission. So there's like 2 active pages that you can go to, and the first Google result goes to a page that has the former members, not our new members, and there's no link to email all. But if you
Okay.
go to the correct site, it's there. I'm not sure if you can deactivate that page or how that works, but just something to look into.
Yes, that's an issue that we've had on several pages, that the way we'll delete a web page, it's gone for a week, and then somehow in the back end with Revise, that's our website provider, it doesn't actually delete if there's something else connected to that website.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it
we've
just
been trying to
happens that
fix
this is the
those.
first Google result, and it's
First Google,
an
if
old
you search
page.
Planning Commission?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Can
then if
I
you scroll
add
down,
to
you'll see
that?
the active page. Yeah.
Because the resident that emailed me said that she tried to email all, and I never got an email from you. Can we check the mechanism of email all again?
I just did, and it works on that secondary page. If you scroll down the Google results and get to the right page, there is a link as one of the bullets that says email everybody, and I checked, and the new members are also included. So
Okay,
she might have, or whoever that was, might have been
Yeah.
on the wrong page that I was referencing.
And I'll
Okay.
just note on that, on our website and other ones, I've done that as well, and sometimes you just have to like remove your cookies, there's some weird
oh
things.
geez,
Yeah,
yeah. And there's nothing that lists all our emails on there though, so residents could just like copy and paste it though, right?
correct, it's to send to all the planning commission
Yeah.
members, so they're all getting the same correspondence.
That's a good
Right.
point, because it launches your default email,
Yeah,
then populates the address bar, right, with everybody's email. So if some people
Right.
don't have that like default email, then it wouldn't open that, or maybe they would pop up blocked. So I don't know if there's a different way that we think might work to include our email addresses separately than just that one link,
Yeah, we can do that.
but could help alleviate
I
the
think
problem.
it'd be helpful, yeah. I mean, that's the hard part. I remember it happened years ago, and it wasn't you or anything, but like, it was a little distressing finding out that there were residents that were like very important things emailing us, and we weren't getting them. So I just hate to have that happen, right?
Yeah,
So,
thanks for looking at that.
Yeah, we'll take
Yeah.
a look, there's some weird things with our website we continue to find, we're looking at potentially redesigning it, so that's
oh
one of the
geez.
reasons.
Did you just build it?
It was from 2015.
Oh, okay.
What's the latest of the PNC building? I mean, I don't see it on the update.
The fire department, I believe, is going to be using it this week as well for training for their last time, and then they should be scheduling the demolition.
Hooray. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Can I roll call, please?
Mr. Tinlin?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Kucera?
Yes.
Ms. Lalonde?
Yes.
Mr. Nushai?
Yes.
Ms. Redmond?
Yes.
And Mr. Solomon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.